Kevin couldn't stop staring at Angela, the woman he might soon be working with if he got the job. Her beauty, her elegance, the way she carried herself, it was captivating. Angela gasped, her voice barely above a whisper. "Kevin, stop." "We're in the office." Her eyes darted nervously toward the door, but a hint of a smile betrayed her resolve. Kevin leaned in closer, his voice low and teasing. "You don't want me to stop. Admit it." Angela swallowed hard, trying to regain her composure. "Not here. Not now," she murmured. "Let's continue after work." I'm already craving it." Kevin smirked, his tone dropping to a heated whisper. "Then be ready. Because tonight, I'll make you scream my name. I can't wait to feel this again." A sly grin spread across Kevin's face as he leaned closer, his voice low and teasing. "I'll make you scream my name," he murmured. Suddenly, a loud shove jolted him. "Kevin! Wake up. You'll be late on your first day." Kevin's eyes flew open, his heart pounding as Dennis, his roommate, stood over him, shaking his shoulder. Disoriented, Kevin glanced around, realizing he was still in his cramped apartment. "It was a dream," he muttered under his breath, running a hand over his face. Dennis smirked. "Yeah, you seemed real into it. Better get moving unless you want to make a terrible first impression." Kevin swung his legs off the bed, his mind spinning. The dream had felt so real, so intense, and Angela's voice still echoed in his ears. Shaking his head, he tried to focus on getting ready for his first day at work. But as he tied his tie in front of the mirror, one thought lingered, making his pulse quicken. Why did it feel like more than just a dream? The story, In Love with My Female Boss, Office Romance.
Episode 1, The Interview. Kevin adjusted his tie for the 100th time as he stood in front of the sleek glass building. It was his first big interview since graduating, and he was both nervous and excited. The company was a renowned IT firm, and the thought of securing a job here felt like the beginning of something great. Inside the building, Angela sat in her office, gazing at the city skyline through her floor-to-ceiling window. She sighed deeply, thinking about her son Michael's upcoming birthday and the ever-present challenges of balancing work and personal life. At just 35, she had built this company from scratch, overcoming immense odds, but the weight of her responsibilities was heavy. Kevin was ushered into Angela's office by Mabel, her sharp and insightful secretary. As Kevin entered, he was momentarily stunned. Angela exuded confidence and elegance in her tailored suit, her warm smile contrasting with the cold professionalism of the office. "Good morning, Kevin," Angela began, gesturing for him to sit. "Tell me about yourself." Kevin launched into a summary of his background, speaking about his time assisting his former manager during his internship, his passion for technology, and his eagerness to learn. Angela listened intently, her piercing eyes analyzing his every word. When he finished, she smiled. "You're articulate, Kevin. I like that. I think you'll be a good fit for the team. Congratulations, you're hired." Kevin was stunned. He had been prepared for a rigorous process, but here he was, employed by the woman he was already inexplicably drawn to. The first day. Kevin threw himself into his work, determined to prove Angela's decision right. Every time she walked into the office, his heart raced, but he kept his feelings buried. She was the CEO, and he was just an assistant. One afternoon, Angela called Kevin into her office. "You've been doing great," she said, smiling warmly. "I wanted to thank you for your dedication." Kevin felt a rush of pride but quickly masked it with humility. "It's my pleasure, ma'am." Angela hesitated, then leaned forward slightly. "I have a personal question. My son, Michael, is turning 10 soon. I want to get him something special, but I'm not sure what boys his age are into these days. Any ideas?" Kevin thought for a moment. "A gaming console, maybe? Or something like a motor racing game. Kids seem to love those." Angela's face lit up. "That's a great idea. Thank you, Kevin. If you're free, you should come to the birthday party. The rest of the staff will be there. Kevin agreed, feeling a surge of joy at the thought of being invited to her home. The birthday party. Kevin arrived at Angela's house feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. He clutched a neatly wrapped gift in one hand, unsure of how the day would unfold. Inside the spacious living room, several colleagues were already seated, chatting and sipping drinks. Kevin spotted Mabel, Angela's secretary, sitting alone on one of the sofas. He walked over and greeted her. "Hi, Mabel. Mind if I sit here?" "Of course not," she said, smiling. "Glad to see you made it." Kevin nodded, settling into his seat. He tried to relax, but his eyes kept darting toward the staircase, waiting for Angela to make an appearance. As they chatted, the sound of laughter and footsteps drew their attention. Angela appeared at the top of the stairs, holding her son Michael's hand. She looked stunning in a simple but elegant dress, and Michael wore a bright grin as he waved at the guests. "Good afternoon, everyone," Angela greeted warmly. "Thank you all for coming. Michael and I are so happy to have you here." A chorus of greetings filled the room, and Angela descended the stairs with Michael to mingle. Kevin couldn't help but admire the way she carried herself, confident yet approachable. "So," Kevin said, turning back to Mabel, "Angela's son looks happy. Is his dad here too?" Mabel chuckled softly, sipping her drink. "No, Tommy isn't Michael's father." "Tommy?" Kevin asked, curious. Mabel smiled knowingly. "He's the tall guy you see walking down the stairs now," she said, nodding toward a well-dressed man descending the steps. Kevin squinted. "I know that guy. He comes to the office sometimes." "Are they related?" "No," Mabel said, lowering her voice. "Tommy is Angela's boyfriend, but he's also the biggest influence in our company." Kevin raised an eyebrow. "Biggest influence? What do you mean?" "Well," Mabel began, "Tommy's a freelance consultant now, but back when Angela was trying to build this company, she hired him as a marketing consultant. He brought in investors, clients, basically helped her get the company off the ground. Angela admires smart, ambitious people, so their professional relationship eventually turned personal." Kevin nodded slowly, trying to process this new information. "So he's not Michael's dad?" "No," Mabel confirmed. "Michael came before Tommy. Angela's been through a lot, you know. She's worked hard to get where she is." She gave Kevin a sly look. "I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Maybe because I noticed the way you look at her." Kevin flushed. "Me? Look at her? She's my boss, that's all." Mabel smirked. "Sure, Kevin. Your secret's safe with me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to help out in the kitchen." She stood, leaving Kevin alone with his thoughts. Kevin's eyes drifted back to Tommy, who was chatting and laughing at the bar across the room. Something about him made Kevin uneasy. Meeting Angela and Michael. Kevin decided to leave early. He stood, clutching his gift, and walked over to where Angela was talking with a friend. "Excuse me, ma'am," Kevin said, his voice polite. "Sorry to interrupt, but I have an emergency and need to leave." Angela turned to him, her expression concerned. "Is everything all right?" Kevin nodded quickly, fabricating a story. "It's my mom. She just reminded me that one of her friends is leaving town tomorrow, and she wants to visit her tonight. I completely forgot." Angela smiled warmly. "I understand. Thank you for coming, Kevin. Since you're already here, why don't you give your gift to Michael yourself?" Angela called for Michael, who came running over, his face lighting up at the sight of Kevin. "Mickey," she said, "this is Kevin. He's my assistant at work. He got something for you." Kevin crouched slightly to Michael's level. "Hi, Michael. I'm sorry I can't stay to watch you cut your cake, but I brought you this." He handed over the gift. Michael tore open the wrapping paper eagerly and gasped. Oh my gosh. Formula 1 and MotoGP games? How did you know I wanted this? Kevin smiled. Just a guess. Your mom got you the console, so I figured you might like some games to go with it. Michael's excitement bubbled over, and he hugged Kevin tightly. Thank you, Uncle Kevin. Then he quickly pulled back, looking embarrassed. Sorry, I don't think I'm supposed to hug strangers. Kevin laughed. Don't worry about it. Consider me a friend now. We like the same thing, video games. Angela smiled at the exchange. Actually, Michael, it was Kevin who suggested I get you the console. Michael's eyes widened. Really? Can you play with me, Uncle Kevin? Angela interjected gently. Mickey, remember, Kevin has an emergency. Michael pouted, looking disappointed. Kevin hesitated, recalling a saying he'd once heard, if you want a single mother to like you, make her child like you first. But he had already lied about needing to leave. I'm sorry, Michael, Kevin said. Maybe next time we can play together. Tomorrow? Michael asked hopefully. It's still the weekend. Kevin smiled. Not tomorrow, but talk to your mom. Whenever she agrees, I'll come over and we'll play. I promise. Promise? Michael asked, holding out his pinky. Promise, Kevin said, locking pinkies with him. Angela laughed. Are you happy now? Go back and play with your friends, Mickey. I'll see Kevin off. A quiet walk. Angela walked Kevin to his car in silence. Kevin's heart raced as he searched for the right words. Finally, he blurted out, You have a smart boy. I'm sure he gets it from his mom. Angela smiled, clearly touched. Thank you. And thank you for coming today. About the promise you made, don't worry. I can talk Michael out of it if it's too much trouble. Kevin shook his head. No need. I made a promise, so I'll keep it. I like kids, and Michael seems like a great one. It'll be fun to play with him. Angela studied him for a moment before nodding. Okay. If you're sure. Thank you again, and have a safe trip with your mom. They shook hands, and Kevin climbed into his small car. As he drove away, he glanced in the rearview mirror to see Angela waving. His heart swelled despite the complicated feelings swirling inside him.
Thanks for tuning in. If you loved what you saw, don't forget to subscribe here if you haven't already. Also, check out our second channel, Reality Love Tales, for more enchanting love stories. Click subscribe and join us for an unforgettable journey. See you there.